Jacob, I want to start with you because you've got this interesting theory, right, or speculation about what exactly is going on with Greece, which started with this whole Der Spiegel report. You say it was a strategic leak by the Germans to help Samaras in Greece, right?
Yeah, I mean, basically, the entire uncertainty about Greece and then the election is that you have two competing narratives. You have a narrative of fear and a narrative of anger among the electorate. And if it's anger that prevails, the opposition will almost certainly win. But if it is fear and essentially Greek swing voters worrying about what might happen in the future, then I would predict that Samaras wins. So what these anonymous German government sources are trying to do, in my opinion, is essentially to foment a crisis sentiment in the markets, create mayhem before the election on the 25th, so that they get the election, the result they want.
Those rascally Germans. Okay, so Jacob, is that going to work? Because you do see that fear. You saw the rout in the markets and the euro tanking after that report.
Well, I mean, you know, I think so far so good. The reality is that, unfortunately, it's bad news for Greece in a way that the ECB is also, in my opinion, likely to begin quantitative easing at some point in the coming months, what will not include Greek assets. So we're not likely to see much cross-border contagion. And as long as this is really a Greece meltdown only, it's really playing into Samaras's hands.
Greg, are you worried about yet another contagion moment from Europe?
Not from Greece. I mean, I do think there's some headline risk in the market overall with Greece, but I don't see an exit by Greece as a contagion problem for the euro. I don't think it's nearly as much of a problem as slowing growth in other countries that are operating with the euro. I mean, Italy. Spain, it is just
Portugal,
it's glacial,
the list goes on,
and so with Greece, you have a cultural problem in all these countries in terms of reforms, right? But it's really exacerbated in Greece. It's a huge cultural shift, and it's very hard to do that, even when you have a crisis and you say, okay, we have to do it now, right? Well, if you wait to that point, it's very, very difficult to make a cultural change and have those reforms stick.
So bottom line, this is a sideshow. You know, I don't want to minimize Greece's issues, but this is a sideshow as you, a U.S. investor and a U.S. CEO. It's a sideshow for you.
It is, yes.
Okay. Now, are you worried about the markets here?
I'm worried. Yeah, I am, actually, because I'm in the camp that I don't really see the fundamentals, improving the way that people, have been reporting over the last couple of months. I mean, I think, as Mike said, buy the dip has been a great strategy for 2014. I'm not convinced that's a great strategy right now, for a lot of reasons. I don't see, again, the fundamentals improving that much. I think that you're going to get to a situation where, well, we already are at the situation where low interest rates just don't matter, right? This is the problem. I mean, the Fed, is going to keep rates artificially low. That is killing the middle class, whatever middle class is left.
Whatever is left,
and that's a huge advantage for wealthy people, but it is not good for the general economy to continue to artificially do that.
Well, so Americans, although Americans are feeling pretty confident right now, at least according to indexes, but we'll get more into that.
Okay.
Jacob, just back on Europe though, you just heard Greg, just as an observer here, outside observer in the U.S., talking about a very little chance of of Greece becoming a bigger contagion effect. What's the chance of Greece actually exiting the euro?
I think it's very, very low. And the main reason for that is that despite all these rumors, the reality is that the vast, vast majority of Greeks, I think the latest poll suggested 75%, they want to stay in the euro. And I think it's because they correctly realize that if Greece drops out, the situation is going to get much, much worse. And what this means is that a populist government simply cannot go against a large popular majority on such an important issue. So there is no government possible in Greece, in my opinion, that's going to take Greece out of the euro willingly, and you can't kick them out. And even the Germans, at the end of the day, don't want to do that. So no, there's going to be no Brexit.